I mean, I was told by my film professor there are films and there are movies, and sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
Okay, so the biggest night in Hollywood is almost here. The Academy Awards is slowly upon us, and to be honest, I really don't care that much. I haven't seen any films from last year, to be honest. The biggest one that I saw was Dune Part 2. It's a perfect 5 out of 5 movie, and it barely got nominated, and I'm actually very sad about that. But a film that got a whole lot of nominations, actually more than Dune Part 2, definitely didn't really deserve it in my opinion, was The Brutalist, which is a very good movie, and I happened to go see it in theaters, and I have to say that it's a solid flick. It definitely deserved the nominations, but is it better than Dune Part 2? Definitely not, but we all know that already. So in honor of the Oscars, I thought I'd come on here today, give a quick review, go through the nominations, see what it might have a chance to win, and just why it got nominated. Why is this film so loved? And also, what's up with the drama in general with the Oscars? There's a lot of drama right now with the Oscars. There's so much weird, different kind of stories going on, specifically with The Brutalist, is that it used AI. That's been a big conversation. Really, I don't care. Like I said, I haven't seen Amelia Perez. I've only seen The Brutalist. I haven't seen Complete Unknown. I haven't even seen Inside Out 2. I'm about to watch that in a second here just to catch up on movies from last year. But really, there's so many films that I haven't seen, and especially with Amelia Perez getting nominated for 13 different things, then getting a lot of backlash as well. I haven't cared a whole lot about the Oscars this year. Last year, I was super locked in. This year, definitely not the case, but still, The Brutalist, it's a great movie. If you want to know why is this film getting loved so much, what is this movie, should I go see it? I mean, I'll let you know right now. But before I do, there's some important things to go over. Like, number one, what even is The Brutalist? When I first saw the trailer, like the poster for it, really, for all things considered, I really went into this film essentially blind. I didn't really know a whole lot about it. But what is The Brutalist? When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, wait, it's like Oppenheimer. But it's not Oppenheimer, obviously. But still, it looks like an Oppenheimer biopic film about this random inventor. So that should be kind of fun. But no, it's not really like Oppenheimer. It is a little bit like that. It is kind of a biopic to a degree. But at the same time, the person in the movie isn't a real person. This is completely fiction, a completely fictional story, which makes it kind of cool, yet also I guess misleading to a sense, because it does really look like, okay, it's Oppenheimer from A24 with Adrian Brody, but a different inventor. It's not at all. So just to get that out of your head. But essentially, what the film is, there's this guy from this random country in Europe, and he has to make an event center for this rich American guy, and that's essentially the whole movie. I know. What? The film is so long as well, 3.5 hours long, and yes, you do feel the runtime, but really, the pacing is paced very well. I have to say so myself. But still, the movie definitely may sound boring, but I have to say that it is definitely very engaging, and it is just so beautiful. It's so wrapped together so nicely with it's just all of its incredible behind the camera details that makes it a very fun ride. So yes, it's long. Yes, you can feel the runtime. Will you see it in theaters? Probably not, most likely. I mean, it's 3.5 hours long. The chance that you watch this film is low, but still, it's a film that'll really get you hooked, and really the runtime is long, but I think to a degree, at a point, you kind of just forget about it. Yes, this did take up my entire day when I saw it in theaters, but still, the film, I think, is worth it for the runtime. The movie makes sense to be this long. I don't think that when a director makes a movie, like with Christopher Nolan, for a great example, Oppenheimer is like 3 hours long, I think 3 hours and 1 minute, something like that. Everything in Oppenheimer makes sense. Oppenheimer in no way should get cut for any of its scenes. Every scene, every moment, every line of dialogue matters for Oppenheimer and for that story. Same thing with The Brutalist. And when you watch The Brutalist, you may say, okay, this could have gotten cut here and there. Maybe like a couple scenes could have gotten cut, but still, The Brutalist is a perfect runtime. The movie is as long as it needs to be. The story really is just this big. This is just this big of a story to tell that it needs to be 3.5 hours long. It's not like how with Oppenheimer, it's this massive story about the war to end all wars and the atomic bomb and the beauty and the horror in that. And then also like how with Dune Part 2, it's almost 3 hours long. And that's a massive, incredible sci-fi action adventure. It's not at all of that. It's a very quiet and tender movie that's very intimate, but still, it's needed to be 3.5 hours long, and it makes sense. I'm definitely all here for it. It's worth it. It's worth your time. The runtime's long, but trust me, it's not the end of the world. You can get through it, I promise you. But going into behind the camera, Obviously, like I said before, number one, this is an A24 movie. Is it a top 10 A24? I don't know. There's some better ones out there, but for now, it's a solid A24 film. I get to my score in the end. But first of all, director Brady Corbett, who I haven't seen a lot of his work before, but still with this movie. And also, I'll be going into the Oscar nominations a little bit later. But still, Brady Corbett, this film, and being someone who has to direct it, it's just an incredibly well done job by him. He really did a really good job. It's a huge, massive task to direct this film, and he did, I have to say, very good with it. Definitely deserved the nomination for it. And like I said, I really haven't seen any of his films previously at all. He's definitely an unknown director. Not to say he's not talented, but still, this is really his biggest film for sure, by a mile, by a long shot, and he's definitely done a very good job with it. Then also written by Brady Corbet and also Alex Goldberger. The cinematography here is coming to us from a very good cinematographer, and it is Lowell Crawley. You may not know him. You may not know his name. He's definitely not a Greg Fraser or a, what's his name? Hoyte van Hoytema is also just incredible cinematographer. Number one, just going into it here, he did a great job with the movie. The film is shot incredibly, incredibly well. He is definitely very talented. But for me, the one film that I saw him do previously for cinematography was The Humans. And The Humans is a film that I talked about a very long time ago. But The Humans is a movie from A24 as well, shot in this very small, cramped apartment, yet it's shot so beautifully. I've given this film so much flowers because the cinematography is some of the best of the entire decade. I'm not even the guy to really analyze that kind of stuff, but really, this film, I had to say, it's not even the best in the world, but still, he did an incredible job with it cinematography-wise. It's a tall task to do a very small apartment, dirty, a bunch of dirt and stuff everywhere, make it shot beautifully and very interestingly. It's a very massive, impressive moment for anyone to do. So I definitely have to say, he's skillful for that alone. Go watch that movie, but still, he did a great job with The Brutalist as well. Definitely deserves a nomination. And lastly, composer here is by Daniel Bloomberg, who you may not have heard. I didn't hear about him either, but this movie is just some of the best score I've heard in a very long time. It's so beautiful. It's so sad and so triumphant as well. It really does make the movie. I think if the score for this film isn't where it needs to be, this movie isn't going to succeed at all. Definitely not. Same with Oppenheimer, how Ludwig Göransson, his score really does carry the film along very beautifully, and also has just some very incredible score pieces. But still, if the score for this film doesn't work, the movie also just won't work at all. The score carries this film heavily, and you can hear it in every single scene. It adds this very beautiful atmosphere to the movie that I definitely have to appreciate because it's just chef's kiss, incredible masterclass score developing and making. It's all awesome. I love it. But going into the film has a lot of unknown guys behind the camera that I've definitely never even heard of, barely at all in my entire life of film watching. It's not like it's a Christopher Nolan movie with all these great actors in it. This movie has one, Adrien Brody is Adrien Brody, and we all love him. He's actually very good at what he does. And also a incredible, awesome cast all around. Like we have Felicity Jones, who also got nominated. Also Guy Pearce is very good as well. All of them are awesome in this movie, but still, it's definitely like a gamble to an extent to see the movie because you really don't know what it's going to be or how good it's going to be. Is it going to be like Oppenheimer? No, not anywhere near that kind of scale. Well, why should I see it? Well, it's an incredible, beautiful, sad, and horrific journey about immigration, about what you love doing in life and your passion, and it's told very beautifully and shot very well. And I know that I am not doing the film any kind of justice at all by how I'm describing it. It sounds so boring, but still the film is great and you're going to love it if you go watch it. The film is worth every single nomination. Now, is that the same for Emilia Perez? No, but I feel like every single year in the Oscars, we have that one film that's super pretentious that has a ton of nominations. This is that film for sure. This film may get seen by no one, but it's definitely going to be a classic for many years to go on. I feel like when I'm older, very old and gray hairs everywhere, my kids are going to say, hey, Dad, you know that one movie, The Brutalist? Yeah, I saw it in theaters actually. It's actually a very good movie. There's definitely been plenty of films in the past that didn't do that well financially or critically that are now incredible cult classics. Like you have Shawshank Redemption, didn't do that well at all in the box office, yet it's now considered one of the best films ever. in the history of movies, which is definitely very deserving, but originally, it wasn't like that at all. And the list goes on. We can do a full podcast episode on movies that at one point were trash and now considered incredible cult classics. That can be a very big discussion for a very long time. Or like how with Donnie Darko as well. Donnie Darko was also that movie that definitely was a, cult classic that's not like The Brutalist, but still on the same kind of level. Or to have another personal example for you, like with Speed Racer, that film is a masterpiece in every single regard, but no one really seen it before, so it's a forgotten masterpiece, cult classic that I absolutely love. And like I said, the list goes on for a very long time. Will The Brutalist be that movie? I think so for sure. Or like a very recent example for me is Babylon. That film didn't win anything for Oscars or finances. It bombed terribly, but still, Babylon is going to be a cult classic in about 5 years. I guarantee it. I bet my entire life insurance policy is going to be a cult classic. Just wait around, you'll see. But just looking at all of this film's nominations, it got a lot of them here. It's a lot to rack up here. I'm just going to quickly explain why each of these got nominated, and the reason why is definitely very clear if you saw the movie. If you didn't, it's very easy to judge. Why did The Brutalist get this nominations and Dune Part 2 didn't get like any? Well, I'm going to explain it right here. Just trust me. I'll explain it to you. Number one is the best film editing. And like I said, this film is 3.5 hours long, and you can feel it, obviously, if you're really like how I was in the theater. I was very like mindful, like, oh my gosh, 3.5 hours long. When is it going to end? My entire day is over. I'm going to die right here. It's actually insane. If you watch a movie thinking like that, think about the runtime constantly. Well, obviously, you're going to feel the runtime, but really, editing a 3.5 hour movie, cutting it all down into a crisp and tight 3.5 hour film is a very big accomplishment. And number two is the best production design. This film has a budget that is so small, you won't even be able to tell. Like, then there's no way, right? The film's budget is so small, it makes every other film seem like a big, massive pyramid scheme, tax, money laundering kind of thing, because this film has a budget of around $10 million, which is really insane. Like I say before, all the time, The Flash, I love it. That's literally my film. I love The Flash so much. $300 million. How? We don't know. I have no idea how that film managed to get $300 million. It's crazy. Or even like with the Marvels, that's $250 million right there, which is insane. Then also, we have most recently Captain America Brave New World. They say that film had like a $120 million budget or something like that. That's a lie. It had like $300 million too. That film got rewritten and reshot so many times. There's definitely like a $300 million budget in there, which also makes no sense at all for that movie. But still, moving on, $10 million, being able to make this beautiful, incredible production based on that is just insane. Then moving on here, best original score, which I mentioned previously, the score, it speaks for itself. Go listen to it. One of my favorite shots, and I'll mention this too, because cinematography is up next. Cinematography is great. It's incredible. Shot on VistaVision, shot on film. If you know me, I love film. I'm super old school. I love film. It's just so beautiful and masterful. You can't get any better than film. Just trust me. Film's awesome. I love it. But shot on VistaVision, it's so beautiful in that format. It's such a classic timeless format that looks incredible. But my favorite shot, one of my favorite shots of the entire decade of this film is in the first 10-15 minutes of the movie. It opens up with our main character. He's on the boat. He's an immigrant, so he's coming into New York on one of those immigration boats kind of thing. And then when he's on the boat, it's like a first person handheld shot. And then they're following the main character behind the back through this whole opening thing. Very shaky, very handheld, looks super cool and immersive in the movie. And then the best shot of the movie, hands down, also one of my favorite shots of the entire decade for sure right now, is when the camera just slowly pans up, very shaky, very handheld. It's very amateur, kind of like how those camcorder films used to be back in the day, like Project X or Paranormal Activity, I guess is also like that, where it's super amateur and handheld shaky filmmaking. It pans up to see the Statue of Liberty just towering above them, and then that massive trumpet score starts playing in too. It's the main poster of the entire movie for a reason. That shot is just so perfect. It just encapsulates the entire movie right there. That shot of the Statue of Liberty just being underneath it. I've barely been to New York ever. I've seen Statue of Liberty, but not like that ever before. Seeing just how big it is and really somehow, I'm an American, been living in America for my entire life, and then still being able to feel that feeling of being an immigrant coming to America for the first time, then seeing such a movie for the first time, that's a huge, massive, incredible feat to do. And just that scene alone is worth it for their entire nomination run, definitely. So cinematography and score, if you want to know why was it nominated, just watch that single scene or just hear the score. The score itself is just incredible. It's awesome. I love it. Then for Best Supporting Actor, this film got nominated, and who's under here for Best Supporting Actor is a guy you may not know, but I know him. He's Guy Pearce. He was in Memento, also Iron Man 3, and Prometheus and Alien Covenant. But, mostly Iron Man 3. It's my favorite Iron Man movie for sure, and also it's just a fun Christmas film. He's awesome in that one, and here, he's also very good in this movie as well, definitely deserving the nomination. I like just how cartoony he is in this movie. It's definitely very fun. It may not be fun to you, but to me, it's just a whole lot of fun and so corny, and just he really plays it up a lot. It feels very theatric in a way. It actually, no. For example, have you ever seen Family Guy? Remember in Family Guy how Lois's dad is like, smokes a cigar all day, drinks whiskey all day, and just parties all the time with his rich friends? That's like essentially who he is, but in live action, which I really do love. He sells that very fun, rich white guy charm, and also the rich white guy anger too. He sells very good, and he really does like just disappear into the role. I remember seeing a quote from Steven Spielberg that said, "Whether a movie is bad or it's good, either way, it's a movie, so they made magic." That's not the exact quote, but it's something along those lines for sure. And definitely, I think that what Guy Pearce does, just his commitment and just the way he just disappears into the role, that is just what makes the nomination so worth it for him. And he definitely does deserve it. He's had a very, I guess, interesting career for sure. Like I said, Iron Man 3 was to some people a misstep. For me, it's one of the best MCU films, but definitely, I guess, for the overall narrative and opinion of his, career, it wasn't the best step for him. But still, for every Iron Man 3, he made Memento. So, it can't be that bad, right? But still, will Guy Pearce win the award? We don't know quite yet, but he might. So that's something. Then also, just going to try to speed up here, we have Best Original Screenplay. Like I said before, 3.5 hours long. This film is just so tightly wrapped and so unique and just so motivating that this film, it feels like it was adapted from something. That's how good it is at being original. That's a weird quote, but yet somehow it's making sense to me in my head. How this film just feels so fleshed out and so inspired by something that it makes me believe in the magic of what this film is, which is definitely what movies are made to be. And also we have Best Supporting Actress, which is coming here from the great, the wonderful Felicity Jones, who is in the film for the second half of the movie. There is a 10-minute intermission, forgot to mention that, but that's here too. And she's in this film as well. Actually, I just watched her in Spider-Man 2 for my birthday, and she's actually very quiet and off to the side in that film. But still, Felicity Jones, I haven't seen her in a lot of movies at all, essentially, only Rogue One and also The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But besides that, she hasn't done a whole lot for me as an actress, but she's still incredible in this movie. And I'm not here to trash on her in any kind of way, shape, or form, but I feel like maybe previously, she hasn't really had the chance to really act in a movie quite yet. I mean, Rogue One is Rogue One, and it's also Andor too, so obviously that's an incredible story, but I feel like she hasn't really had the chance to truly act and show the world what she can really do. And here, she finally gets that chance and eats it up in every single scene she's in. Definitely deserving of it. She's awesome. She's incredible. Force. Will she win? Only time will tell. But Best Supporting Actress, she's definitely in the running for it. And then also for The Brutalist, we have the Best Director nomination, which definitely should have gone to Denis Villeneuve. But like I said, I'm not going to try to hate on this guy at all. He's definitely very deserving of it. He did an incredible job of the movie. I mean, it's just so big. It's such a big, massive movie. To direct it is just such an incredible task that he does very well. So Brady Corbet, definitely just very good job. He did a very good job of the movie. But still, Denis Villeneuve not being here, it feels just so wrong to not have him be nominated for Best Director. But we'll we'll move on. It's okay. It's fine. It is what it is at the end of the day. Ball up top. Whatever. We'll keep going moving through it. All right, so going into the last two nominations here, I have for Best Actor, I have Adrian Brody in the running here right now, which he might win or he might not. I know for Best Actor this year, it's Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet. I already forgot them all. I'm so sorry. Coleman Domingo is in here as well. And right now, I don't even know anymore. I don't even really care, to be honest, with the Oscars. But still, for what I heard that since this movie had some, rumors with AI and all that, that the movie has now lost a lot of its strength for winning anything this year, which is a little bit upsetting. I don't even know where the AI is actually used in the movie, but still, I feel like, I don't know, who knows? We'll see. But still, regardless, Adrian Brody, he's Adrian Brody. I mean, I really don't know what to say besides that. I've seen Adrian Brody a lot recently in Wes Anderson's films. I went on a very heavy Adrian Brody binge last year with all of the incredible Wes Anderson films. But, this might be his best work. I haven't seen The Pianist. Not yet. I'm working on it. Definitely working on that movie. But he's been in so many great films that to see him just be here again, it's just so incredible. Just so much talent just spews out of this performance. It's also just the way he makes you believe that this is a real person. He makes you feel for them as well. It's movie magic in every kind of level, and he just masters every single sector of it. So will Adrian Brody win? Maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Nor do I really care. I think that, if anything, Timothy Chalamet, if he wins, that'll be awesome. I think just in general, I mean, he's just a GOAT already. But I mean, Timothy Chalamet, nominated for Complete Unknown, but we all know that Timothy Chalamet should be nominated, but not for this movie. It definitely should be here for Dune Part 2. Why did he get snubbed for Dune Part 2? Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But still, Adrian Brody, he's the GOAT. Always has been, always will be. And I hope he wins, honestly. It'll be pretty cool to see. But, I love Coleman Domingo as well. He's also awesome. So we'll see what happens. And then finally, this film got nominated for Best Picture and should have been nominated for Best Picture. I say yes. This is a very massive journey of a movie that'll make you feel so many different kinds of emotions. It's shot well, written very well, acting's on point, the score's all there as well. It's a very crisp film that I think is very good and deserving of the nomination, and I really do love it and enjoy it. And like I said, I do have a whole lot of pros. Like I said, this film has 10 nominations. I have to say, it's worthy of all of them for sure. But there's one single little con that I have right now. The film is so big. It's so much to really process and really just break down. But my one con is the ending for the movie. And the ending for the film, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not like a mind F, Inception, Interstellar, like what the heck just happened with this ending of the movie. I don't understand. I'm very confused about it. It's not like a confusing ending. I get the ending of the movie. It definitely all makes sense for me. But the movie is just, like, the way it ends, I get it. It makes sense. But I personally, as the writer, I wouldn't end the film in that way. You can do that if you want to. It's not my film at all. I mean, I'm just a random guy making a podcast in some pajama pants right now. But, really, I wouldn't end the movie the way he ended the film here. It just doesn't really feel as satisfying to me. It kind of like, just as the film was supposed to be getting into the third act, it skipped to the very end. Like, what the heck just happened? Did they just mess up the movie or something? When you watch, sorry, not when, if you ever watch the movie, you'll definitely get what I understand and see what I'm saying here. When they get to the third act, when the movie really feels like, oh my gosh, this is the big climactic, like, oh my gosh, everything's about to come to a big climax, big ending, it's going to be all beautiful. It skips that moment of the very, I guess, normal way to go about the ending and having that big climax and everything. And it goes to the last 5 minutes of the movie right there, which makes sense. It definitely is a smart way to do it. Definitely very, I guess, symbolic in a way, you can say, if you want to make that kind of argument. And like I said, the ending isn't exactly bad, but, it's just a little weird. I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan of it, I guess. If I had to give an example, I guess, of how The Brutalist ends, in a very easy way that we'll all understand here, we're all going to be on the same page about it. We've all seen Cars. Yes, me and you. We, as in all of us here right now, we've all seen Cars, right? Okay, good. I was about to be a little worried there for a second. But we've all seen Cars. So, remember in Cars, in the third act of Cars, very simple cliche, third act is a big race, right? Good, great, awesome. Before the third act is when Lightning McQueen, he gets caught in Radiator Springs. Then he goes back to, where is it, California for the big race? Yeah, sure, 100%. And then after the big race happens in, California, they go back to Radiator Springs, all happy again, credits roll. That's the film, very easy, right? So the movie's third act goes as follows, right? So we have for the third act, part A is he gets caught by the press. Part B goes to the big race. Part C, he goes back to Radiator Springs, all happy again, credits roll. That's the movie right there for you. But instead of that, the Brutalist way of doing it is like this. McQueen gets caught by the press, cut to black, then at the end of the movie, it skips the third act, skips that third portion right there, then it goes right into the credits rolling, the big Radiator Springs happy moment, and that's where I'm like, okay, it makes sense, but you just skipped the big third act moment. Why is that not here right now? I'm missing so much important character development and character moments that really gets forgotten about forever. Who won the race? I mean, how did he win the race? What happened in the big race for the Piston Cup? What happened? I don't know. So that is, I think, cool, but also I'm not that big of a fan of it to where I did have to think it down a little bit for score, but still, I'm a fan of it. It's a very cool way to do it, but it might grow on me or it might not. I have to see about it. But you know what? Enough about me. Should you go see The Brutalist? I say, yeah, sure, why not? Definitely go see it. It's a long movie, but I say it's actually worth it. Also, you get an intermission, so it's not that bad, actually, in reality. It's okay. It's fine. Relax. Look, listen here. You scroll for 5 hours on TikTok, and you can't go see a 3.5-hour movie. Relax. Go watch it. It's going to be okay. I promise you. You'll be fine. But besides that, that'll just about do it for this Oscar special. Will I do more this week? Maybe. Maybe not. What will next week's episodes be? I don't know. I have no idea. And I know you'll be saying, wow, what a podcast host. I mean, hey, listen, man. That's how it's been these past few days. I mean, one birthday was last week. Alcohol sucks, by the way. It's actually very nasty. Also, eggs are like the price of a home. What the heck is that about? Who knows? But whatever. That's just about do it. Let me know. We have a little fan mail thing down there below, a little Q&A thing down there as well. Who's going to win at the Academy Awards? Should Dune Part 2 be nominated for more stuff? Yeah, we all know that already, so it's not that big of a question to ask you. Kind of a statement. Yes, Dune Part 2 should be nominated for more things, but you know what? I'm going to go cope in the corner and cry somewhere for a little bit, so we'll have to talk about it a little bit later. But until then, obviously, stay swagged out, stay cool, watch more Oscar movies unlike me, and until then, I'm your slogan, and obviously, I'll see you boys in the movies. Or I guess on Sunday night, will I be in California for the Oscars? No, I haven't gotten invited, which is weird. I probably should have, but they probably got lost in the mail for my invitation, so, that's whatever. But, yeah, anyways, good night, everybody. Have a good one, and watch more films. I'll see you boys in the movies.